And the stream is good.
Hello, hello. You're listening to the Goggler podcast. Ian, Bahir, and Uma with you, coming at you live with a whole bunch of reviews this week. We're going to be talking about the new, well, not so new Malaysian movie, but we finally get to see it on Mubi. It's called Mencari Rahmat. We're going to be talking about Cruella because it finally came to Malaysia on Disney Plus Hotstar, and also a brand new murder mystery series called Only Murders in the Building. Loads of stuff to talk about, but first, how's it going, boys? We are still in a kind of semi-lockdown. Every day we learn of new things opening up, but not really.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Have any of you tried to dine out yet?
Yes.
I can't yet.
You can't?
How was that?
We, what were we doing? Where was it? Oh, we went to IKEA, and I think you boys asked about going to getting meatballs, and meatballs were a definite no-no because there's a huge queue, and it was like, Yeah. So we wandered around my town, and Absolute Thai was right there, with like 3 people in there, and we thought, that's my kind of place.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, the entire KL population is waiting for IKEA to open, right? Because everyone loves that damn food.
Yeah, that place is always so crazy busy. It's ridiculous. But it was fine this time, but there was so few people that we kept missing the shortcuts that let us get through the place. So I don't know whether they turned up the music or something, but it felt like I needed to get out after a couple of hours. But we got what we needed. But yeah, that was our first dine-out experience.
Nice. But you've still got 5 more days before you go?
I'm quarantined until Tuesday. My phase 1 lockdown ends on Tuesday.
You're not actually you're not actually quarantined. You're just
I'm not quarantined. No. I'm second dose quarantine, whatever you want to call it. Because it technically is the quarantine period. I think that's what they officially call it.
Well, no, quarantine is when you've got it and then you have to stay somewhere or you're flying into a country. This is just dosage awaiting activation time. This is your sleeper cell period.
Yeah.
You're waiting the call that says the sparrow has left the nest and you're like, I'm good to go.
Yeah. So watch out. So watch out, Kuala Lumpur. Bahir's out on Wednesday.
Watch out, hairdressers. Bahir's on the way.
I'm going to make an appointment for Wednesday morning. Guys, I'm going to be busy Wednesday morning.
Nice. We had a long weekend over here in Malaysia. It was Independence Day on Tuesday, which meant, I don't know, it's the same thing we do every day, really. Just watch more shit on Netflix and Amazon and whatever.
I completely missed. What did they do with the... We took the day to sleep a bit, actually. And also, I went to IKEA the day before. Do you know how tiring that is?
Oh, no, that'll just wear you out. Yeah.
So
that was a rookie mistake, Ian McNally. The day before a public holiday, when everyone's taken leave, you go to IKEA as it's just reopened.
Oh no, it wasn't. The restaurant was packed. The shop wasn't packed.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was still tiring AF. But I missed the parade and stuff. Did they do much this year?
Yeah, I think it was like a minimal thing, just because of social distancing, etc.
Yeah, I don't know if they had guests. I know they do because they do it for TV, I think. I always miss it because I always sleep in.
I miss it now because for years I couldn't miss it because the fighter jets flew right over my house.
Oh, I love that.
Repeatedly.
I used to live down the street from Data Merdeka. I loved it. Of course, I would sleep right through it anyway.
Oh, when I was first here in 2006, I was living in a hotel opposite the pavilion, and I didn't know what the hell was happening because I was on the 27th floor, and when I looked at I went to work. I think because it was 5 days in a row. The first time I was on the 20th floor, I think, of the office. You look at the window and you can see the pilot's. You can see the whites of his eyes. He's flying. He's about 20 feet above you, and I'm just like, this is not right. So I'm glad they're not flying through city anymore. But I always get heads up. Merdeka's coming because I'm just roused out of bed by sonic booms in the middle of August.
You're like, oh my God, we're under attack. It's finally happening.
Yeah.
So I spent the day looking through some of the local movies on Netflix, and there is a big selection because a few years ago they made a deal with Media Prima and so on and so forth, and I rewatched a movie called Pisau Cuko, which is Malay slang for gold diggers, and it's by Bernard Chorley, and it's from the 2000s, and it's wow, It's good. First of all, it's just about these two women who are in gold diggers in inverted commas, and they go on a cruise to find themselves rich husbands, but then a murder happens, so it's like a part murder mystery comedy kind of thing. But I was watching it and I'm just like, holy shit, this was only like, like 10, 15 years ago, and there is no way they could get away with that today. Like I think netizens or society has become a lot more conservative, that everyone will have something to say about the length of Maya Karen's dress, or
and I disagree.
The fact that they're wearing sleeveless tops.
I don't know how much of it is actual conservativeness, or if it's just I want to be the first one to call out Maya Karen.
Yeah, the conservatives are just the smaller group of conservatives are just louder.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
And I think everybody else is just jumping on the bandwagon just to sort of, hey, I'm cool too. I'm conservative. I'm with the guys.
And second of all, along with, let's jump into it. And without further ado, can we also get rid of the word netizens? Every time I see that,
I do hate that word. Yeah. They're not real people. Yeah,
it's just like, netizens were complaining. It's like, no, people were complaining, motherfucker. You said something stupid. People were complaining.
See, hang on.
I used the word netizen in a derogatory way.
Okay. For me, I like
so does
when they
the
refer
press
to
here.
netizens. When they refer to netizens, it always feels like you asked 3 fuckers on Twitter.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. You took a screenshot of 3 tweets, and it's become a news story.
Yes.
But no, the movie is really good. So I urge you to go check it out, because there's some stuff. Obviously, they couldn't shoot on a real cruise ship, so there is some real bad green screen. But
now would be the perfect time to remake it. I'm sure there's plenty of cruise ships just sitting there
Right?
waiting to be
floating
used.
around. Yeah.
But those technicalities aside, the script is tight. It's pretty funny, and best of all, it's got a super young Henry Golding.
Oh,
who
wow.
says no lines at all, and he just plays the gay son of a Tansri. And he's in it for like 5 seconds in one shot and maybe 10 seconds in another shot.
Oof.
And that's it. So
Somebody
that was
should
my
remind
cheap
Henry
thrill.
Golding. Yeah.
Yes, that was my cheap thrill from watching Peace Out Jugo. Yeah.
Somebody should remind Henry Golding that this is where he started. Don't get too big for your boots on the G.I. Joe shoots.
Apart from going to IKEA, I also decided to reread all of Kieran Gillen's Die, which is a great thing, because I realized halfway through that
so good.
There's probably only 20 of them, and that'll be the end of this month. So that was the perfect time to read it.
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
all based on a D20, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm a couple of I'm more than a couple issues behind. I could be halfway behind.
yeah, I thought I was like episode 9 or something like that, but I was quite far back. I hadn't realized. Time gets away from you. All of a sudden, you're thinking like,
really
I should get in with a comic that I read 2 or 3 issues of, and then there's like 16 omnibuses. You're like, what?
Yep.
No, but that's the thing I like about Die, because I know there's a finite. Like for me these days, when I'm reading comics or buying comics, I like the ones with a finite ending when they go 1 of 6, and I'm like, I can get behind.
Oh,
that.
thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that the storytelling is also tighter, because they know they only have 6 or 12 issues, or whatever it is to get it done, and they have to get it done.
Did you guys bother checking out the final trailer for Bond?
Yes.
No.
Well, I don't know. They keep releasing a final trailer, right?
I checked out both of the final trailers.
I was gonna say, isn't this the second final trailer they've released for Bond?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, but this is the final. This is the double final, the 00 final, because they had the final US version and the final international version. Because apparently, I mean, I was trying to figure out what the difference, like, why, and I think it's just I don't want to say dumber, but the US version was kind of like the epic conclusion. It's like,
right? It's what? Like, remember this guy? He's been James Bond for almost 2 decades.
Yeah, it's like
really?
The previous ones were barely held together. Like the overarching plot line was barely held together with sticky tape as it was. So the only thing I think from these trailers is that I think that what's the guy from Mr. Robot again?
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. I think he's playing Dr. No.
No. Yeah, really?
Why not? I think they've got all these big bases. It looks like Bond is assaulting a usual, what do you call it? You know, those kind of big evil villain lair that they used to have in the early Sean Connery ones and stuff that they don't have anymore.
Yeah.
It's got
and
that
they
going
only
on.
introduced the big bad in the last film anyway. The organization thing, yeah.
Well,
so...
wasn't it so the same? It's not the same organization as the previous two. I only watched Casino Royale a while ago, and I'm still like, what?
No, but you're right, Ian. It was held together by Sticky Tape because they forced this overarching narrative when I don't think they planned for one. It was only later when they realized, people like these multiversal connected storylines, so let's try and do something.
Do you think it was that, or do you think it was that every time a director gets James Bond, they're like, "This is the one. I'm going to end up killing the goddamn franchise. Just I'm throwing in Spectre. We'll see what happens. And call back. Maybe it'll do well. Oh, it's do well. Oh shit. Oh, what? I have to follow through. Oh fuck.
Yeah. What? Daniel Craig doesn't want to do it anymore? God damn it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not holding my breath though, guys. I mean, Mission Impossible, Ghostbusters, Top Gun Maverick, everything's been delayed again. Sony seems to be holding strong with that Venom release date.
Oh, really?
But I think
Bullshit.
Yeah, apparently they just released another poster in the US yesterday. But I think tomorrow and over the weekend when Shang-Chi opens, I think those box office numbers are going to determine how everyone reacts, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Shang-Chi is a risk in itself because one...
Racism.
It's, well, that, but also... It's
one, racism, two, Merca.
But it's also just not a character anyone knows.
Yeah, I mean, we're massive nerds on a podcast. We're doing a podcast as grown men. And we barely know who he is. I haven't read any Shang-Chi at all. I've come across him, I think, in anything.
I read the old ones a long time ago. I don't remember shit. But yeah, he doesn't have much name recognition. Also, the people in the movie are probably more famous to us. Like, I am super excited that Tony Leung is in a Marvel movie, but I don't think anyone in America cares. And
movie fans care. It's probably going to be one of those tomato meter things where the critic score is high, because the early reviews have been out and very, very positive.
But I guess you do the mental arithmetic of 120,000 cases today. Do I want to go to the cinema kind of thing? And people are getting scared again in the US. So I don't know.
It'll be a big hit in Florida.
Will it though?
I don't know.
I refer you to points 1 and 2 you mentioned earlier.
Number 1, racism. Number 2, Merca.
There you go.
Yeah, it sucks because what else? What was the previous one that we had this for last year? Raya, right? That was it. It was Raya. Raya was like, we're doing the middle thing, and it's unfortunate that all this representation is getting out at this time. But Ghostbusters is 100%. So all those posters and ads that said Thanksgiving, even in the US, gone.
That was just announced today. Yeah. So 2022. I mean, fucking Mission Impossible is September 2022. So they're giving themselves a tremendous runway.
Macquarie works with Tom Cruise. He knows what risk is. So he's like, this is going to be 2022. I'd follow what he'd said.
But also, I mean, I guess we all know how involved Tom Cruise and how much control he has over those two franchises. And he wields a lot of power as a producer. And I think he's thinking all of these movies, like the previous Mission Impossibles, have billion-dollar potential. I am not opening them at this time, which is probably the best thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Because Jungle Cruise just got okayed for a sequel because it did very well. Reviews were great. People liked it, etc., etc. But of course, it only made 100 million. So that's the new arithmetic in the age of the pandemic. 100 million, woohoo! Sequel.
Yeah.
If you can,
I know, and I think that's fair. I think you have to take the consideration of the time, and also the other thing as well is the idea that you can't plan your Thanksgiving film on a movie that's happening now. Like, you can't look at Shang-Chi and go, oh, Shang-Chi did very well, we can open in Thanksgiving, because there's external forces that are at play here.
Yeah, the Epsilon could be upon us by then. Epsilon? What's next? E? I don't know.
Yeah, what's after Delta?
Yeah. I didn't do great. I didn't, it's all Greek to me.
Hey.
But it still annoys me that the trade don't kind of say, but the story says, disappointing opening for Suicide Squad, but there's a pandemic on.
Yeah. But
there's a pandemic. You released it simultaneously on HBO Max. You gave people the opportunity to watch it at home.
Yeah. Also, these forecasts annoy the shit out of me. People have made a living out of like saying these forecasts, and it's going to actually be something. Like Nate Silver is now kind of looked upon as like his numbers are garbage now. But it's the same with like, I assume every podcast. Last week's podcast disappointed. It didn't do 10 million views. So it's obviously a disappointment for the studio, for the company. We're gonna trim our belt. You know, you can talk about it like that, but like if you make ridiculous assumptions about what you're gonna do based on nothing, these assumptions are based on the last one did well.
Yeah, yeah. It's based on, you know, it's based on some magic math, right?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise adds
Hollywood math.
Tom Cruise adds $10 million. Will Smith adds 40. You know, it's just like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you seen After Earth? Not anymore.
Yeah. So you know, it's that forecasting is
an art, not a science.
I don't even think it's an art. I think it's a game. I think it's a shot in the dark. You know, I think it's a dartboard.
It's a grift
in a dark room. Yeah, it's a grift.
I think Bahir and I are both on that Hollywood Stock Exchange website where you like buy stocks in like people and films, like play the fake stock market.
Fantasy celebrity slavery.
Kind of.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And I think that probably sums up the predictive nature of Hollywood assumptions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, side note, they started selling these mini cans of soft drinks. I
don't dare buy them.
They make me feel like a giant. Like,
I agree with you, but then I drink 3 at a go.
Those have been around for quite some time. I've sent Bahir pictures of them because they're the only size you can get Coke Classic in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
I missed him in the store. So,
yeah.
He's got a guy in Pera.
I like to pretend. I like to feel like I'm a hobbit.
So we had early access to the first 3 episodes of What If, which is what we reviewed, and we finally caught up with the regular series, and we finally got a new episode this week, episode 4. It was What If Doctor Strange had lost his heart instead of his hands, and it kind of presumes that Christine dies and how that kind of pushes him over the edge. What did you guys think of this new episode? I was on the fence. I'm a bit meh about it, in the sense that everything is top notch, right? Animation's great, the scripting, the dialogue. I loved all of that stuff. It's just the story and the resolution for me. I was surprised at the first 3 episodes. Like the way they played out, I was like, "Ooh, that is interesting." I knew how this would end from the minute it started. And so for that was the big difference for me, because watching the T'Challa Star-Lord one, like there were so many things. Thanos as a bartender, like so many things it threw at me that I was just like, this is amazing. And the twist at the end of episode 3, we won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it, with the Avengers stuff and what if the Avengers never happened. Like all of that was surprising to me, but this one was the most predictable of the bunch. So I was just like, oh, it's good, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So to follow up on what you were saying, Uma, we had seen it a long time ago. We saw it before it came out. So my memory of the 3 are sketchy at best. Because once I do these podcasts, I have to export.
You delete.
I can't. I don't have space.
Delete.
Also, on top of like just watching television normally, we watch TV for work, so we watch about 3 times as much television as anyone else does.
That's true.
There's not enough room for it all.
Yeah, I'm a 2016 MacBook Air in here, so I don't have the space. But I dare say I thought this was my favorite. Yeah, only because
that is a big claim.
It is a big claim. I know. Now I'm afraid because Ian's looking really quiet right now.
I was just checking the stream. I need to put a button in here so that when I look down, it automatically says he's checking the stream.
He's not just winding himself up to put you down.
Because Ian's got his iPad, he's got that horror lighting on his chin, he's got that whole thing going.
The notes approach.
He's just waiting to be let go. But I really enjoyed this one. I thought I didn't think it was that. I didn't find it predictable. I liked the ending, and what I do like about the 4 episodes we've seen so far is that we said it the last time. They're all different tones, right? The first one's straight up action adventure. The third one is a heist thing. The third one.
Second one's a heist.
Second one's a heist thing. The third one
like
is
a
very
mystery,
drama, very dark. Whereas this one gets pure emotional. Like me and my wife were watching it over lunch, and we were just, on tenterhooks. We were just, there's a twist with the Sorcerer Supreme, and we were like, what? Did not see that coming, holy crap. And so we would really enjoy it. I thought this probably is my favorite of the four. And now I will duck.
I think we just need to
come around.
We have a note that Uma doesn't tell us what he thinks of something before the rest of us have watched this, because with this and Sweet Girl last week I was like, I'm looking for the twist, and with this one I'm like, well, Uma said it's not great, and I'm like, I can see why he might say that while I'm watching it, as opposed to taking it in
to actually watching it. Yeah.
Raw, because I was watching it thinking like it is.
You mean you listen to Uma?
I read his texts.
Oh, okay.
Subliminal.
I read his Slack messages sometimes.
Yeah.
No, but it was that idea of like, okay, I can see why they have a problem with this one, because it does feel less than essential. The what if is, it's interesting, but it seems to feel like, even though they're short and they get a lot in, it feels like it has to do a little bit more work to get across the outcomes of its what if. Like the other ones were more immediate. What if Carter took the serum? What if she became,
Yeah.
This one was like, okay, we've seen the time loop thing done, or was it Doctor Who? It's a fixed point in time point. They were trying to avoid using that phrase, or Nexus phrase, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
So we've seen that done. So we have to go through. I have to watch him go through the motions of trying to change that point before he gets to the point, right?
Yeah.
And that was just like, okay, I can see that, and it's not having a massive ripple out effect. It's very much a focused story. I understand that they think that they were doing this in order to give Jeffrey Wright more lines, to kind of give to give his character. I'm saying that so I don't talk about what's at the ending in case people haven't seen this week's episode. But the ending of it is like drawing a certain line under maybe where they'll go in later seasons, where that, like, if they decide to do what I thought they were going to do, which was have some, with all the talk of the multiverse, have some storyline that carries through a little bit, and maybe it's the Marvel Zombies. Why Uatu will not get involved, and this shows that as bad as things will get, he'll come and have a chat, but that's it.
Yeah,
he's like, I told you. He'll come over and he'll tell you, I told you so. What an absolute dick. He just he tells you, I told you so, and he'll leave you there on your Todd, really on your Todd, and that's it. Maybe I wonder if he pops in on him ever so often. Still lonely.
I just thought that was a Sorcerer Supreme thing, that Strange is able to sort of see beyond other people. So he notices. So for, I don't think that I don't know if the Watcher will pop in when zombie Tony Stark's about to bite Peter Parker's head off. I don't know. I'm just making
no,
sure.
but I mean, if when zombie Stephen Strange eats all the other Stephen Stranges and is even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, and then they have to call him the Sorcerer Supreme, Uatu might just slide a book because his house is under attack as well. Do you know what I mean? There's something they can build upon this, but in order to do that, they have to establish the stakes that he will let your house burn to the ground if that's the way it was supposed to. He will only watch.
Do you remember if it's 6 or 8 episodes? It's 8, right?
I can't remember.
That was 10.
I can't remember how many episodes. Is it 10? Oh,
I don't know.
Bonus episodes. Woo! In my head, I thought it was 8.
I don't know. I'm just guessing 10.
I mean, I'm still enjoying the series a lot. I just like that they're doing these zany things with all of these characters, which is a lot of fun.
Okay, it's 9 episodes. IMDb says 9 episodes, but it also says 18 episodes because apparently it's been renewed for season 2 already?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it has.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So question. Would you prefer that if it ran all 18 episodes, assuming second season, that it's all standalones like we've seen in the first 4 episodes, or would you like a connective thread between all of them? You think, or at least between some of them?
For me, I'd like a slight thing, maybe like the further adventures of Captain Carter in the future kind of thing. Would be cool. That kind of connective thread, but. I like it to be slightly separate from the MCU. It's a lot in the MCU. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to keep up with. So I like the fact that this is slightly outside of it. But it ties in. But,
But I like it to explore like crazy what ifs. Like what if that one doesn't sound so nuts? You know what I mean? Like what if they, what if they went for burgers instead of shawarma after the Avengers? Isn't that interesting? I mean, it is if you get like the people who do, if you get the Seinfeld cast to do the voices of the Avengers and sit around in the coffee shop instead or something. You know what I mean? If you use it as a jumping off for comedy, that's one thing, but it has to be a comedy episode. I didn't find this one even with Benedict Cumberbatch. I didn't find it tugging at my heartstrings because I know it means nothing essentially.
Right. Okay. Well, you say that. Maybe it's because Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us, but that fucking episode really tugged at the heartstrings. It had some great lines.
But also had just some great lines, and it was just, that one was, disco candy. That was just like hit. This one, when Strange went to the jungle for a while there, and also with is it Rachel McAdams who plays Christine?
Yes.
Yeah, her performance, whatever it is, reminded me of Archer, and that when he went to the jungle, I was like, oh, it's Archer. This is Archer. Like. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange.
Not as vulgar.
Yeah, without all the cocaine. So, but magic's kind of a drug too. But it really kind of went into that area, and it was kind of funny with the Armani thing, and so then the pathos didn't work with the other bits.
Interesting.
Yeah, let us know what you guys thought of Doctor Strange. If you're watching right now, you drop us a tweet or comment on our YouTube live stream.
One last thing I forgot: the Sorcerer Supreme attack. It's just every time I say Sorcerer Supreme, I'm thinking of Supreme Chicken. Did you see all those Kirby dots?
Yes, the Kirby dots were cool.
They were like, I mean, if that's what What If does, and they figure out how to do Kirby dots in 3D/real life, that's all good. It's a win in my book. Net positive. If we have to destroy multiple Marvel universes in order to get Kirby dots on screen in the MCU, win.
Do it. Let us know what you think of Doctor Strange. Reach out on our social media, Goggler MY. Also, podcast at goggler.my is the email address, and you can also WhatsApp us 012-524-5208.
And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can also leave a comment in the comment box, and we'll try and not miss it.
Because of all the thousands of comments that are just flooding the inbox right now. All right, let's talk some movies. Mencari Rahmat is a Malaysian movie that was first made in 2017, I believe, and there were some limited screenings in 2018 to select audiences. I think
it competed in Singapore as well.
It did, and the movie won some awards on the back of that. I think they won some Malaysian Critics Awards, but the public hadn't seen it because it didn't have a cinema release. The movie is an adaptation of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. It's by Al Jafri Muhammad Yusof, and it stars who you would expect in a movie like this. Namran, of course, Amirul Effendi, Sharifah Amani, the kind of Adi Bano, the top people in Malaysian film, right? And there were a couple of reasons why it was delayed and never got a cinema release. The director in an interview said they were trying to find the money because they didn't have enough money for marketing. It's the usual problem that indie directors have. And then they had a cinema release. COVID hit. Nothing.
Yeah.
Mubi comes along. Thank you, Mubi. Picks up the film and drops it on Merdeka Day. So now for, I think, $9.99 a month, you can watch it on Mubi. For the first time. So Bahir and I checked it out. I know, Ian, you didn't have time to check it out, but I'm sure you've seen some version of The Importance of Being Earnest, right?
Yeah, you just said everyone. I have seen it with George from Glenroe in it. That's a shout out to my Irish posse. They'll know who that is. But I've seen it in the Peacock Theatre in Dublin, which is, a good place to see it.
There you go.
And I've also seen, I think, the version with Gavin Yap in it multiple times as well.
Oh shit, I've seen that version too.
Yeah, that version's played a lot. That version's got around where he plays Cecily, because that's the all-male version.
Yeah, that's right. So, Mencari Rahmat, we've got a review on the site. Bahir and I did a little chat log where we spoke about the film. And for me, I start the review by saying it's a noble effort because I think anyone who has the balls to try and do The Importance of Being Earnest in another language requires applause. But the movie fell short for me in many ways. I mean, the performances were great. Like everyone's bringing their A game to this film.
Are they doing that? Like everyone running in and out of the different things and the different scenes and like speaking over each other and all that kind of stuff?
No, it's a little more straightforward than that.
Oh.
But for me, it's impossible to do earnest unless you translate the language or you kind of mirror the language in a way that makes sense in BM. Because everything about that play, everything about Wild is just how clever and fucking witty he is at every fucking, like when the play opens, right? Algernon's on the piano and his butler comes in. He goes, did you hear what I was playing, Lane? And the butler just goes, I didn't think it polite to listen, sir. I mean, it sets every single character up so beautifully with a single line. And none of that happens in this movie. So I'm watching it and I'm just like, it felt like a wasted opportunity because I think the Malay language can be exploited to do that.
Yeah.
Like it can be very poetic. But they take a very straightforward approach in the translation. I think you mentioned that there were lines that you heard and you were like, that sounds a little awkward. And then you translate it in your head in English and you're like, oh, that would be funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there were lines that read better in the subtitles than it did hearing, right? And again, it's I don't want to say it's a performance thing because Amirul and Namron are, as always, amazing in this. They both play and I think it's they play that CAD character very well, but it also feels like it's a Malay version of the CAD character. It's not a European version or an American version of the CAD. It's the Malayu version of the CAD.
But also, it's not enough of a Malayu
But it's
version.
not enough. Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't kind of transpose earnest to a truly Malay context.
Malaysian context, or Malay context, And I think for me, my big thing was that it felt like there were farcical moments they were trying to aim for, but it feels like they didn't lean into it. It feels like either a producer or it felt like a producer said that's too much and told the director to tone it down, or the director himself felt like it was too much and toned it down himself. There were moments where it felt like they could have leaned into the farcical nature of what they were putting together as opposed to trying to match a telling of the importance of earnestness.
So did it feel silly instead of farcical?
It felt put on, I think.
That's what I mean. That's what
natural.
I mean.
I think that's the right phrase. And also because they didn't lean into the language, for me, the show derived its comedy from the situation, which is what Wild never does. Like the situation is funny for sure. Two guys pretending to be other people, mistaken identity, blah blah blah.
Yeah. The problem is that feels like a Malay movie. That feels like any other Malay movie from the last 100 years we've been making movies.
But just to go back to what you were saying, Bahir, and the director knows that because he makes his actors ham it up like a Malay drama would.
Yeah.
So when Namron is laughing, Namron's not laughing. Namron's doing the kind of laugh like they would in those 7 p.m. Malay dramas, right?
Yeah.
But
like he did in Pasal Cow.
Like he did in Pasal Cow.
Yeah, like he did in Pasal Cow, yeah.
He doesn't go far enough. And I think that's what you mean with the farcical bits. But because of that, I'm not getting the humor from the language. Like there's Amir Muhammad tweeted about how 30 minutes into the film he had to stop watching because there's a great line about smoking that is completely just lost in this version. And the line is in the show, Algernon's being interrogated by Lady Bracknell. And he goes, "Oh, do you smoke?" And he admits, and he goes, "Yes, I smoke." And she goes something like, "Oh, that's good. It's important for men to have occupation." It's a really funny line, right?
Hobby?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important. Yeah, hobby or occupation, and it's really funny, and it works really well. Over here, it's do you smoke? And he goes, "Yes, I do." And she goes, "Oh, honesty, I really appreciate that." And I'm just like, that doesn't really, Anyway, but
I think that's the thing. It's this. There's a strange interpretation of farce that the director had tried to do. So, for example, I don't know why this stuck to me. It stuck to me. I could not stop thinking about it. Why does Namron's suit have medals on it? Why does he have military medals from the World War II hanging on his chest? He's a businessman. And you just go like, okay, if you want it to be farcical, lean into it, right?
They're war buddies, aren't they? They're war buddies in the play, aren't they? The characters, are they?
Sure, if it was maybe because it was set in 1920, you know what I
think
mean?
Wasn't it earlier? Was it earlier?
Oh no, it was. It was the late 1800s.
Yeah. Okay. So and that's my point, right? He says he's a businessman, yet he's having he's got medals on his chest.
He fought in the same war that Sharif Omani got the Luger and the grenades from in Zombie-topia.
That's right, in Zombie-topia.
Yeah. There's this thing about Amirul Effendi's butler being a rock kapak guy, like a mud rocker, long hair and all that. And it's like, it's odd, but cute. Okay. When they go to Penang to Rahmat / Razak's house, he's got a skinhead butler. And you just go like, okay, I don't get it, but sure. It just feels like that was unnecessary jokes to put in.
That's an in-joke based upon the Malaysia loves their rock lords, rock gods.
Exactly.
But I don't understand why they're butlers. It just feels unnecessary to be there, And I think things like that, like lean into it, give him a line, give him a reason to be there, other than he's a mud rocker, he's opening the door for the other guy.
That's it. There were a couple of moments that did catch me off guard, which I was very, very curious if this thing has a rating. Like on the poster, I see an 18 rating. Yeah. And I don't know if that means LPF has approved it, because there were two scenes in particular. Either they didn't understand it or they went, fuck it, it's on streaming. One, Sharifa Amani has a lollipop in her mouth and she puts it into Amirul Effendi's mouth. I know, right?
Hey, calm down, Ian. This is Malaysia. It is the kind of thing that would absolutely get
wait. But when we're introduced to her character, Ratna, we see her from behind. And the
I disagree with this one.
Oh, no. You got to watch it again. And the camera's
I've seen it, dude.
I'm telling you. And
let him tell me what it is. This is more tense than Halloween.
The camera's pulling in, and she's getting off. And her head moves from left to right, and then it tilts back, and you see her shoulders drop and relax. And then one hand comes up with a cigarette. There's enough of a pause where where she could have lit a cigarette. One hand comes up with a cigarette, and then the other hand just takes a few seconds later to come back up again. And she's sitting in a chair in the garden, her back to us, and her legs are open. And I'm just like, wow, for a Malaysian movie, that's just boom, blows my mind.
I'm just going to say that clip is on our Instagram page, Goggler at Goggler MY. Watch it. Let me know what you think.
Make up your minds.
I don't think it is, but once Uma says it, I told him I can see where you're coming from. I still don't think it is.
I think the director was like, let's see how much you can get away with.
I know, but the 18 rating, I know why. One, they're all smoking. But more importantly, two, Amirul Effendi and Namron drink from a Jack Daniels bottle.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, pearls clutching. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I think that's that. Yeah.
Yeah. They pour it out into a glass. I mean, it's iced tea in a whiskey glass, but sure, right?
Yeah. It's iced tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, definitely watch it, because I think it's a very ambitious effort.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah.
I think there were moments that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, our gripes are purely academic. I think we had issues with it, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoy, probably not the right word, but
my gripe is it's twofold. It's not just academic. It's just that, wow, if you're gonna take on Oscar Wilde of anything in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's difficult. It's hard.
Yeah. And I think this movie sort of reinforces that. I think it really reinforces that this play is not to be trifled with. It's a playful language thing. It's hard to sort of translate that if you don't get into the fact that it's a language thing.
There's a reason some video game podcasts listen to about the industry and stuff like that talk about the translation from Japanese to English for an awful lot of things, and it is a full-time job. Like, it is something you have to be very skilled at. And an example that always sticks out to me is, I think it's a game called Ni no Kuni, and in the original there's a character, his little toy that runs around and does stuff. He has a accent that is associated with the countryside in Japan. And you could have someone do a funny voice, you could have someone do something different, all these things you could do, but the translators had him play. They hired someone Welsh to do the voice, and it just gave it that extra countryside twang, which kind of tied together. But the fact that they're from the countryside doesn't ever come up. It's just an accent that is associated with salt of the earth type, whatever. So it is incredibly hard to do these things. I just watched the video as well, and I think I've seen that joke was funnier in The Naked Gun. They did that in The Naked Gun, right? Like
yes, they did.
Oh,
she looks.
Yes, they did.
I've also seen it done. I'm not sure if it's in Hantu Kaklima. I'm not. I've seen it done in something else recently, as in the last decade.
Right.
And yeah, that's. I don't want to say subtle, but no, maybe your head goes back a bit.
It's subtle by Malaysian standards.
Yeah, if it's a joke, it's a badly paced one, I think.
Yeah. But I think it's also to set the scene that she is a sensual character, right? Or at least all of the women in this movie, whether it's Rose or Ratna, are both these very forward sensual characters who are challenging to these two cads, right?
And so I read an interview with the director, and he said, "Oh, that's why I had the women character break the fourth wall and talk to the audience." And I'm like, okay, but Amirul Effendi also breaks the fourth wall, doesn't he?
He does.
So I'm like, I don't. Then your thing doesn't quite work out either. I just feel like
there were a lot of elements that felt a little indulgent. I mean, watch it, Ian, and let us know what you think when you do, because there's the breaking the fourth wall moment. I know will annoy you because it happens just the one time and then never again.
Well,
and there's nothing
3 times.
Well, no, as in the way
in the
they
same
do
sequence,
in the same, and then
and
then there's a character who we can't tell whether he's real or not. He's not real. He's I don't know what's a figment of the imagination, a ghost, God knows, right?
Stage direction. I don't remember that in the original, is it?
It's not in the original. He's a character that kind of shows up and like punctuates certain moments. It's a very weird device, and
but also and again, here's my thing. It's not just one character that interacts with this magical character. Everybody interacts with him.
Yeah,
you know. And I'm just like, wait, so is he a computer that everybody has access to? What I don't know what he is, right? And that's sort of, and it's things like that just feels odd.
Not fully thought out. Like if you're going to do that kind of stuff, make rules for it and then stick them to them.
Correct.
Because because if there's no rules, your audience will go, well, why? They'll start asking questions instead of being swept up by a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Watch it. Yeah.
Mencari Rahmat is on Mubi right now. You can check it out. Actually, there's a wide selection of local films on Mubi, which I've been trying to catch up on. Because it's got stuff that I either missed in cinemas or I saw once in cinema that I enjoyed, that I really want to watch again, namely Laki Harapan Dunia.
Mubi's got Laki Harapan Dunia. Mubi's got Jimmy Asmara on it, which I haven't
also seen
just
in a couple of decades, right? So
yes, yeah.
Are we sponsored by Mubi?
Not yet.
No.
Let's stop talking about Mubi.
But if you want more of this gold, Mubi, more of this juice, you know how to get in touch.
Yeah. Did we not have this other conversation on the podcast before? No one wants to hear about our juice.
Let us know if you've seen Mencari Rahmat. Let us know what you thought about the film. You know how to get in touch. Goggler MY is our social media.
Do we need to talk about the t-shirt?
Sorry.
Do we need to talk about the t-shirt?
I mean, it's just a weird bit, right? One of the characters is wearing a Rolling Stones t-shirt. And we see it in the trailer, right?
Trailers,
It's in the trailer, but in the film...
It's also in some shots of the film, they either forgot or didn't bother to do it.
But it's censored. It's the Rolling Stones. It's the Rolling Stones logo,
mouth.
right?
It's the mouth. It's the lips and the tongue.
Yeah. And I don't know why it's censored. I don't know if it's a rights thing.
Could be clearance. I mean, ideally,
is it?
You said they showed us in 2017,
would LPF
right?
have an issue with it? 18, yeah. I don't know.
18.
And I mean, the other thing as well is you're not going to be able to see it in the photo, but there's a poster in the background, and the poster is a full cinema-sized poster of the Rolling Stones, lips and
logo.
Tongue. Yeah. So they've covered it with a picture of Amirul Effendi.
Maybe
it just feels
they thought they could get away with it in Malaysian cinemas and on DVD, but now in the streaming age, it's like our lawyers could be in touch from making.
But would it though? Because it's not.
It's a trademark logo, so I mean.
I'm sure it is, but
it can be fine. You know the way some shows cover up the logo on Apple computers when they have them in the TV show because they don't want to be accused of implicit sponsorship, I guess. But also,
That's one, yeah.
if anyone decides they don't want to, if they want to stop you using that thing, they have a right, they have a way to do it.
Also, we've heard stories of like Disney initiating lawsuits when like a Mickey Mouse thing is in the background of a scene, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's the least of what they've done to make sure Mickey Mouse doesn't become available in the public domain.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, but yeah, check out Mencari Rahmat. We're really curious to know what you think of this movie. Goggler MY is our social media feeds. podcast@goggler.my is our email address, and 012-524-5208 is our WhatsApp number, our hotline, which you can communicate directly with us, and we will, have a chat about movies with you.
We will communicate back.
Cruella finally got dropped in a legal way. We know a lot of you have seen it because we see it on our social media, but because cinemas were closed, I think Disney was originally waiting for cinemas to be reopened before releasing the movie. But when I guess Premier Access expired in the US Disney Plus and it got added on to their regular viewing schedule over there, it got added on here as well on Disney Plus. So you now have a legal way to watch Cruella. If you don't know, it is the prequel story of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. It stars Emma Stone, Emma Thompson.
All the people who aren't Emma.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see Mark Strong, which was delightful. I always love him. And and it's a bit of a weird film. Like I'm gonna ask you how you guys thought, but this is my initial reaction. I was watching it and I'm thinking, this is a gorgeous, beautiful movie. It is so well made. Everything feels rich and sumptuous, right? As I'm watching this. And then the more I get into it, the more I'm like, this is a very weird movie because all of these bad guys are Jasper, Horace, Cruella. These people we've seen in the cartoons as bad and evil are so likable in this film. And they don't really stop being likable at the end of it. I mean, this isn't Joker, where by the end of the film, the sympathetic guy becomes a complete maniac and you're like, whoa, that guy's scary, right? Yeah. At the end of this film, I was expecting to hate. I could never hate Emma Stone, but I was expecting to hate Emma Stone. Yeah. And then I'm just like, nope, still like you. Yeah. What's going on?
I'll jump ahead because I hated the tie-up that this feels like they're expecting Cruella 2 and 3. Like, I hated the link.
Oh, for sure.
The link there is a link at the end of this to two characters who are supposed to be two characters from 101 Dalmatians. And it is very clearly not them. It's like if in this movie she doesn't even hate Dalmatians in this movie. No, they're fine. But also, it's as if what's the dog's names? What's Pongo and the dogs from 101 Dalmatians, the mom and dad
Pongo and Princess. Just watched it yesterday. No.
Anyway,
Bahir, did you actually go and watch the cartoon after?
I put it on. I think I watched the first 10 minutes and realized that this movie doesn't follow up there
at all. I was wondering because couldn't remember. I think
doesn't make sense.
Isn't there a Mark Strongish character as well as does she have a butler? I don't know. Is Art in the movie?
I didn't get that far.
But anyway, Art is their fashion designer friend. But the whole point is there's a link there, but it's like there's a weird amount of representative casting going on, and that's not a bad thing. But cast the Cruella, do that in the casting Cruella role. Don't put it in all these other roles all over the side, the background characters. So the characters from 101 Dalmatians, they're not your average common these days. Your Sonys, your Pixar human-looking people. They're quite tall, thin, strung out. Cruella is the most exaggerated of that, but even the hero characters are quite, gaunt looking, stylized. Exactly. Yeah. So when you have when you basically have two characters from those movies turn up in this and they look nothing like them, and it also is like the origin of those things is like it makes no sense. It's like what?
No,
zero sense.
Makes no sense.
This link,
there's no connection.
So
none.
I wonder, to come back to what you were saying, Uma, is this like a movie where the director took the money and was like, screw it, I'm just doing my 60s biopic that I'm going to do about the Joker in the 60s, and screw it, I'll figure out, I got to throw in a link to the 100 Dalmatians. Here you go.
With a little bit of Devil Wears Prada thrown in for good measure.
Kind of,
right? I mean, like for me, the production design, the fashion, all that stuff, absolutely stunning to look at, right? And like Emma Stone as Estella and Cruella have these hero moments that are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like all of that I really enjoyed. Like her entrance, and I know the stupid trailer gave it away, but her entrance when she first makes her entrance, is fucking great.
And every entrance
every time every time she crashes one of Emma Thompson's bodies, it's just cool, right? But the overarching plot and narrative had me really fucking confused.
No, and that's the problem, right? Those entrances were great, but they feel like poster moments. They feel like a music video moment.
Even in universe, it's like, okay, it's the 60s. There's not any red carpet interviews or anything like that, I suppose. Yeah. But like, she just appears, and then she leaves. It's like, wow, what a fashion! There's no there. You know what I mean? If it had been, and then she leaves, like, if she was like, the girl from No Doubt at the height of her, like, she had her Harajuku girls walking around behind her. If she had like local people she'd hired to wear outfits designed by her left behind, handing out flyers or something, that would make some sense. But as it is, it's just like, who is this masked woman? Fashionable woman.
She's a fashion vigilante that does nothing.
Sorry, I love that. The fashion vigilante struck again. What he did, he hemmed my trousers.
Yeah.
But this all boils down to the question of, who is this movie for?
My question would be, why is this movie for?
Why is this movie for?
What is this movie for?
Is this Bahir presents Drax's movie reviews? Why?
How is this movie for?
Well, because at the end of this movie, me and my wife were just like, why does this movie exist? We don't need to feel sympathetic for Cruella.
It's definitely not for fucking kids, because the first 10 minutes of that film are incredibly traumatizing.
Yeah.
Because of course it's a Disney movie, so parents have to die, right?
Yeah. But and if you've seen the scene online when it came out, like, that scene was put online pretty much straight away, and it looks.
Really?
Oh yeah. Did you see? The discourse around was that look at this. This is the dumbest imaginable shit ever. Because out of context, that scene's dumb. In context, the scene's kind of dumb. It doesn't really work at all, and it's like it's so over the top. You know what I mean? It's not like. It's not like Dalmatians accidentally knocked over a Rube Goldberg machine that set something in play. And it's supposed to be, like, you can see someone saying this is supposed to be the reason why she hates Dalmatians. So therefore, we're not going to show her hating Dalmatians at all for the rest of the movie. Yeah. And not only that, she has her own dog who's not in the animated film.
No. Yeah.
And there's also...
But they don't pull the trigger, and that is the problem with the film, right? Because I think they were still trying to keep it PG, because she needed to kill some Dalmatians. I mean, honestly, if you wanted to create a villain, you needed to have her do that. Because
in the first 15 minutes of the animated movie from the 1950s or whatever, the only reason Cruella exists is to take back these fucking Dalmatians to make
a coat.
That's the point of the cartoon. That's where it starts.
She don't care.
So you can't. And the thing is, at the end of this, there's a tag that sort of very clearly times it to the next movie, which is the cartoon.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That link. Fucking hate it.
No. Oh no, you fucking hate it is one, but you give yourself no room.
Yeah.
Those
dogs died. Those weren't the dogs. Those dogs died, and then later. Because they named
so much.
They named the new dogs after the dead dogs.
I've had pets for 30 years. You never reuse a name.
My mum had something. I still to this day don't know how many Alsatians my mum had, because they were all called Jessie, and I had to I had to seek out like contextual clues about when she was. When I was out with Jessie, when I was like, "Were you 6?" I said, "No. This is just before I met your dad." I was like, "Oh, you were 18. That's not the same fucking dog. What the hell?"
It's like Ratcatcher 2. It's like, Mom, you gotta call it Jessie 2, Jessie 3, Jessie 4, Jessie Junior, Jessie the 3rd.
Jessie the Return.
Exactly, right.
And then after the return, it's Jesse, the revenge. But yeah.
But here's the thing: Cruella 2 is actually going to be a prequel to this one.
Haven't they?
I think
about Cruella 2?
I think they've greenlit. Or I think they were talking about already making a sequel.
I was pretty sure, yeah, because I thought, no, a sequel is currently in development.
Yeah, in development. They're like, what do we do? You've simultaneously give us no runway and also all the runway in the world. And also, well, we're not going spoiler, but also the ending of this, it's wrong. Like, she's like, it feels like, again, there were elements that were left up to the audience to decide for themselves. Like, someone, there's a faked death at the end of this movie, right? There's a bit of
oh god, I hate that death.
Yeah, but the thing is that I mean the mechanics of that are also dumb. I mean things like leverage in these shows exist. There's cleverer ways to do that. When I saw that, we did, myself and my girlfriend, we did groan when that happened. We're like,
you groaned. I threw my hands up in the air and screamed, "Fuck off!"
But also, the
only thing that was missing was her going, "I'm Batman."
Yeah, I might have liked it a bit more if they did that. But the whole thing is like when they Emma Thompson and John, they recognize her. Or they think, you don't think it's because of a certain element. Again, we're giving spoilers because it's not out here yet. You don't think because of something very unique about Cruella that this could be someone else with a similar thing, right? So there's a line of like history there, it's not just the evidence points to a person with this physical feature being of certain lineage
of conversation.
So they kill off the wrong ego, the wrong alter ego.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
It would have made more sense the other way around. That like the poor little shop girl that no one knew about died and that the ARS lady swept in. But instead there's a line in there. I am wondering, like, when she debuts the Dalmatian coat that's not a Dalmatian, there is like, I'm wondering if there are things sticking out. I didn't think about it enough like when I was watching it, but there could be, because when they find the dog, like those dogs just appear later on when Emma Thompson comes around to the factory area.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're talking as if the dogs aren't there, and then the dogs are there, and they crop up. I'm not sure like whether the dogs were reinserted. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I was thinking about this after the fact that maybe she did kill those dogs and they were told to scale it back.
because it's interesting you said that, because as I was watching it and at her final sort of fashion show, there's a news reporter that for some odd reason goes, I wonder if she actually killed Dalmatians to make that lovely coat. I'm like, for me it was just like, why is that the first thing you jump to?
It's the 60s,
How
man.
is it? No, but like, why is that what you jump to?
There is a thing as polka dotted fabric.
No, it was the polka dotted fabric was not invented until 1966. This takes place in 65, right?
It just feels like an odd jump for
but that's what I mean.
Reporter to make.
That's an insert line. It's an ADR line you can put in there that you could then pay off by inserting the dogs. The CGI dogs as well were shit. I mean, Wink was a fantastic performer, a real dog. I think that leads me on to I've still to talk about Emma Thompson, but like the dogs, when they did use real dogs, look great. When they didn't use real dogs, it was The Exorcist in a way. A lot of the time, I didn't like it. I would have preferred they just scale back on what they want the dogs to do and just use real dogs. I mean, Benji was doing that shit in the 80s.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they just didn't. They didn't want to stick around for the dog to do sort of tricks and stuff, because But again, like you said, Ian, there's not a lot to do, because at times when a young Estella is holding, what's her dog's name?
Scrappy Doo.
Okay, sure.
Because he's a CGI Scrappy Doo. He is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like,
why didn't they have him holding a dog?
Yeah. Just hold a fucking dog. Why does it have to be a CG dog that she has to hold?
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just some really weird decisions here.
But Emma Thompson is a delight.
Both Emma Stone and Emma Thompson were delights. I think
I couldn't enjoy the movie because I know I'm supposed to hate this woman. I'm supposed to hate.
Which one? Which Emma? Which Emma are you supposed
both
to hate?
I'm supposed to hate both of them, but I'm supposed to hate Estella, right? Yeah. Or Estella / Cruella, but I can't, because she's so sweet and she's so nice and she's so lovely, but I'm supposed to hate her because I love the original cartoon and I don't know where this goes.
And
that feels rushed as well, because there's the moment where there's a you could play it as a Joker moment, like it feels like it where she gets out of the car and she has a realization, and the next scene she's literally, I've heard this in so many other people podcasts, she's Jokerfied, right? It's like she's become Jokerfied. Her face is, she's got more white makeup on, she's affecting a crappy accent.
Yeah.
It doesn't warrant that, you know what I mean? There needed to be more of a change happening there, or just the scene of her doing it. Of like, wait till they get a hold. They needed a Jack Nicholson, wait till they get a load of me moment, right?
Yeah. And also even the explanation as to why she is slightly unhinged is so...
It's garbage bullshit.
It's so Psych 101. I'm not going to spend too much time digging into this, but it feels like a shortcut that everyone will understand. Right?
Yeah, but everyone in the 60s will understand. Her mother was mad, therefore she's mad.
Exactly.
She throws around words like psycho and mad a little too freely, I think.
No, and you know what? I would have been okay with that if they leaned into it, but yet again they keep backpedaling, right?
Yeah.
So they're not even going with the courage of their convictions with that one. It was an odd movie, man. Like, there was so much about the film, and that's why I say I was 50-50 on the fence with it, because there was so much of the film that I liked from a visual point of view, but everything narrative-wise, I was just very disappointed.
Yeah, and the visual thing felt like all they had to do. You know, it just felt like that's what they came to the table with, and then started to attach all these stories for it having to be Cruella. And I think that for me just feels weak.
Yeah, like I know they're thieves, but they live in a condemned house. Who's paying all these people who make all these clothes?
Where are they getting all the fabric?
Yeah, well, they're stealing it. They're stealing all the fabric.
Constantly stealing it.
They're stealing that, but you can't steal labor unless, you know, you're a multinational in the year 2021. Hey, but unless you're a capitalist. But I do want to say, I like Joel Fry is like from yesterday. He stood out in that as just an interesting character.
That's right.
I forgot he's also one of the shitty slave owners in Game of Thrones.
Oh my God, yeah.
With Daenerys.
Yeah.
I was like looking up his IMDb and I was like, I feel like I know this guy from somewhere, and I know it's yesterday, but I think he was enjoyable in that. He has a very enjoyable presence, and I'm just waiting for someone to give him something decent to do, because
I preferred him in this than he did I think yesterday he was a bit much. I think.
I mean that movie was a bit much.
That movie was a bit much, though. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you caught me.
I liked Horace,
Paul Walter
Hauser, because he's in Cobra Kai and he's great. Cobra Kai. He's very funny.
Does he do an English accent in Cobra Kai? Because he's not doing one here. I was like, we all saw Richard Jewell together, right?
Yes, we did. Of course.
And he was fantastic in that. He was in Black Klansman as well. He was in I, Tonya as well, and he's played a certain character in that. And he was playing the same kind of character in this, and it just, something was wrong with that accent. I
just love the whole, and that is the angle.
It just didn't quite work.
No, I mean,
no, you're right. Yeah,
but I did like. Oh my God, I can't believe I looked this up. I did appreciate their commitment to scenic detail. When Cruella throws his cereal flying, it's Choco Krispies, and I was like, "This is some bullshit." Some Americans don't realize the Choco Krispies were never really called, or Cocoa Krispies, I think it was. Or Choco Krispies. They never really called that in the UK at the time. It's the same way you see someone eating a Chinese takeaway. They're not eating it from an American-style box. They are eating it from a silver curry tray, which makes sense. I did look it up. Choco Krispies were called for a very brief time in 1965.
Oh, that is
wow.
Where is it? It's in my notes. Oh yeah. I thought it was Cocoa Krispies. It has sweet from Sully and Sweep on the box, but it was introduced to the kingdom as Cocoa Pops in '63. The name was changed to Cocoa Krispies, but subsequently reverted to Cocoa Pops. So that's commitment to detail.
Ooh, okay.
That's nice. I like that.
Okay.
I like that. And that's the movie. So, there's bits and pieces of it like that to like.
Yeah, for me, the whole did not justify the sum of its parts, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, this is sort of, and in this one, like we talked about in other things, when a character has to write the best music ever, the music has to be the best. In this instance, when they say the Baron is the best fashion designer in London, and you see those clothes, and you go like, no, yeah, you're right. Those are amazing clothes. right?
Yeah.
And then Emma Stone is just Vivienne Westwood, and that's easy. You just do that.
Yeah.
And it's cool, right?
Yeah.
And they pull all of those elements off. It just goes back to what you were saying, but hey, why is this movie for?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay. So here's the question, right? Had the character not been called Cruella de Vil, this movie would have worked.
Yeah,
I think,
if they had created an original franchise or original...
Yeah.
If it was called the Vivienne Westwood story.
Sure, yeah.
You know, instead of fighting Emma Thompson, she just opens up her own shop and meets John Linden. That's the story, right? It's the same. They even have I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges, right?
Yeah.
Also, there's so many songs in this one.
But they're all era appropriate, right?
They are era appropriate. But I'm getting, like, we've seen Suicide Squad, and we've seen the Guardians movies, and when James Gunn does it, there is an attention to detail.
There's a point. There's a reason for it. Yeah.
No, but there's also, like Quentin Tarantino, it's like I'm not going to pick out a whiter shade of grey for a Vietnam movie. It's been done.
Exactly. I'm not going to play Sympathy for the Devil in a movie where her name is DeVille.
Yeah.
Only they do it, it's just done to death, and it's all of the obvious choices. And every time when they pop track something, I'm getting increasingly frustrated with all of these incredibly obvious choices.
So it's time to reactivate the article I've had in my trailer for quite some time. 10 songs that need to just fuck off for 10 years and not come back. The Chain is number one after Murray Walker, Formula One, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You just can't do The Chain anymore. Triple Frontier. Fuck off. Just, you don't get it. No, you cannot use that song.
Yeah.
You're not good enough a movie to pull that off.
Yeah, and it's too soon. It's literally too soon. It's not too soon for the 60s, but those songs have been used better before, and there's other songs to go through. Like, I mean, I always remember the factoid that came up somewhere that when Painted Black by the Stones came out, Sugar, Sugar, like, honey, that was number one. The Archies, that was number one. Like, you know, it's gone the other way around now that we remember the Painted Black more, but still, there's so many songs out there.
Yeah.
But
Cruella,
but kids love movies about homicidal narcissists.
Of course.
That's
what better way to sell than t-shirts and bags for school?
Yeah.
Fun for the whole family. Cruella is streaming on Disney Plus Hotstar. Check it out. Let us know what you think. If you haven't already checked it out by whatever means you use, you can get in touch on all the usual ways. Up next, we're going to be talking about a brand new series that's also dropping on Disney Plus Hotstar. It's a murder mystery series. It's called Only Murders in the Building. It's Steve Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. Now, to my knowledge, there are two major shows that feature true crime podcasts. One of them is on Apple TV Plus called Truth Be Told. And this, I think, is the second major show to do it. I guess to put it in some context, this one is half as long and twice as funny than that one. I mean, that's not a bad show, but that's a serious drama. But for me, and it's amazing because that one has consultants from Serial on it. And yet, this one feels like it's so much better observed. And I think it's because you had Sarah Koenig, who was so involved in crafting Serial, that took a super serious approach to it. Meanwhile, Only Murders in the Building it just blew me away. Like, just how astute its observations were in these true crime addicts. There's a murder in their building, and they take it upon themselves to try and find out who did it and start their own true crime podcast.
Yeah.
I was hooked from like the first 10 minutes.
I love the music in this. The music feels like a true crime podcast, right?
There's
Even
a moment,
the one Steve Martin plays.
The concertina. It's like, and you know that's him playing it, right? He can play all those instruments.
Yes, he plays all those.
When he's playing that and Martin Short is giving him shit, I'm like, no, that's exactly what you hear on those things.
You shut your mouth.
That's great. It was they nail when I heard it was going to be about podcasting, I thought like it's not going to be able to go the distance with like 10 episodes, right? We haven't got the
10.
last two. I was worried about it, holding that long because they either solve the murder or they don't, right? But there's more than enough in it to do that. They don't make it. If someone's listening to this going like, I hate S-Town, I hate Serial, I'm not going to listen to it. They don't. It's not the forefront, you know what I mean? It is one of the many things going on in this show, and everything in this show is juggling multiple balls. They have that going on. Each character has multiple things going on with themselves, and secrets and romances and all sorts of different things going on. And they're just a delight to be around. All of them are interesting things happening all the time.
And I think that's what's so great about it, because it's a murder mystery show for sure. But all the great murder mysteries, whether you're watching an episode of Columbo or Murder, She Wrote or whatever, it's not necessarily about the person who did it. It's about the characters, right? And this one dives deep into every single one of those characters. It feels like a Neil Simon play at times, like where, it's all these zany people stuck in a hotel or stuck in an apartment building, and each one, they're all rich enough to pass off as quirky. But actually, they've got some deep, dark secret. And it only comes out in a moment of crisis like this. But at the same time, it's also, it doesn't pretend to hide the fact that these are obsessives. I mean, the first time someone mentions a true crime podcast, when the police inspector is just like, oh, you're one of those fucking fans, aren't you? It's a great moment because it just sets up everything you're about to get. You know what, for me, the thing that was just, I was apprehensive because I was worried that Steve Martin and Martin Short might have lost it. Like I haven't seen them like together do something great in a long time. And so like halfway through the first episode, I'm like, oh, the banter is great.
Yeah.
They're playing off Selena Gomez brilliantly.
Yeah.
Like the chemistry is wonderful. I'm like, yes.
Where the hell has this Steve Martin been? Why?
Right.
Why has he been? Was he like sitting on a mountaintop meditating to build up the comedy? Because he's been doing stuff, but he's not. Like, you look at his IMDb.
He's been touring. He's been touring
with the band, right?
Yeah. He's got his own band. Yeah.
But like, this is the kind of Steve Martin stuff I loved from LA Story. This is the quirky but not like annoyingly so. Martin Short has that side handled 100%. Like, I do get annoyed at him sometimes because it does feel like he's just playing a Martin Short character, but as the series progressed, there was a lot more character revealed behind all of it. But this is what I wanted from, like, nobody wanted the Pink Panther movies that Steve, he did 2 of them, right?
Yeah, he did 2.
No one wanted that. That was just a bad idea, and it works. He's executive producer. They're all executive producer, but he's a co-creator.
Yeah, he writes as well.
And he writes as well. And it's really, really good. It all works. It doesn't feel like someone trying to be relevant or trying to glom onto the most recent fad. It feels like someone writing organically about what's going on around them.
And for me, that was my concern when I first heard about the show, because I'm coming to it from, I'm a 37-year-old coming to it having never seen a single Selena Gomez anything. And I find out she's in a show with Martin Short and Steve. I'm just like, this can't be good. I was concerned that it was going to be a Selena Gomez joint with Martin Short and Steve Martin.
We're perfectly aware of how little effort goes into making a podcast. So doing a TV show about that just seems crazy.
Yeah, it just seems like the dumbest thing in the world. But I think the balance between the three of them is beautiful. It is an ensemble between the three of them. It's not a lead and 2 others,
And also, I mean, I'm on the other opposite extreme of you. I love Selena Gomez. I think she's fantastic.
I thought you were going to say that. I kind of thought he's not going to say what I think he's going to say, and then he said it, and I was like, okay, okay. And so basically, you say you were looking at Disney Plus, going, when you're ready, come and get it. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a really good running song.
Okay.
And belly dancing.
I'm a big fan of Selena Gomez, and actually, like watching her on the HBO Max series, Selena and Chef, kind of gave me a different look at her, because that's just her at home during lockdown, cooking with various chefs, and you got to see like the real side of her as you can get. And this felt like a natural progression to, I guess, what she wants to do in her career, right? And I wasn't sure how well she could pull off this kind of comedy. And just watching her play off these 2 legends and not be left behind is pretty impressive. The timing, like there's this great moment, and I think it's in the first or the third episode when they're picking a lock. Or Steve Martin is trying to pick a lock to get into someone else's apartment. And it's this character moment that they're kind of telling each other about themselves, right? And I just thought that was brilliantly written and brilliantly played because, you know, it's like, oh, we're in. Oh, how long have you been able to? Oh, I've been.
I got it a while ago.
But and all of those moments, it just really works. The director and the showrunner spend a lot of time crafting those character moments. So whenever the reveals happen, like everything is hinted at. It
falls into place. Yeah,
it's what a good murder mystery should do, right? No, no Deus Ex Machina shit.
That moment you talked about also couches within it another moment that's in the next episode, which is it reverses the whole thing.
Yes.
And that's genius.
Yes.
Exactly. It's so smart. I'm
is.
so happy with the show.
Yeah, but it's also like it's not considering it's about murders in the building. It's not heavy. Like it just whistled through. I was so mad at I think episode 5 because it was 26 minutes long. And I was like, who do you think you're fucking two-timing with this bullshit? 26 other episodes are at least 35 minutes at minimum, 34 minutes is the shortest other episode, and you're nickel and
10 minutes.
You're nickel and diming me with this bullshit. Give me more, and then.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like, watching it, I get this. I want to describe it as an old school murder mystery comedy. I don't know what an old school murder mystery comedy is, but this feels like that's the best description for this, right? And I think it's
Clue.
The relationship.
I was just going to say you're thinking Clue.
Yeah, well, let us give you a clue.
Sure, thank you. But I think it's also just the like you said earlier, Ian, the Steve Martin shot thing is perfect. It's the same guys we've seen many times before.
This is the three amigos solve crimes after the third amigo tragically died.
Yeah.
After the third amigo became racist.
Yeah, and stopped being funny.
Ouch.
No, wait. But here's the thing. It's the same Steve Martin shot, but I think it's also a more generous version. These guys have been doing this shtick for 30, 40 years now. And to let Selena Gomez in and play on an equal level, I think is smart. Like
it's not just that. I think it's John Hoffman saying yes, their show was funny. An Evening You Will Forget for the Rest of Your Life, but it was an awful lot of
show.
It was an awful lot of punny, old-fashioned. It was like watching Abbott and Costello, right? Stand up. It was like nothing about this. I mean, I didn't listen to the podcast where we reviewed that, but we did review that in the past at some point.
But I mean,
are you just blanking, right, Uma? Or are you looking at the news? I can't tell.
No. I'm looking at you.
But it feels like I know what you mean, Ian. In that I wanted to love that stand-up because I love these guys. Yeah. But the stand-up didn't quite work, right?
Exactly.
It's that thing of like, I'm sitting here going, I want to love this because it's Martin Short and Steve Martin being Martin Short and Steve Martin, but yeah, it's okay.
So I don't see it as being generous letting Selena Gomez. It's like, we're going to get that new Coke taste in here and we're going to prop up these old comedians. And that's perfectly fine because that's what balance. That's what it needs. They need her withering cut-downs. They need them, what is it? They didn't say woke. There was some other word that like they were like, oh, no, I had it there. It's gone. It wasn't like hella. It was something like, oh, she explained this to word. She gave me that word earlier. There's little things like that. Yeah. It's just so
Steve
good.
Martin trying to figure out how to text her. It's very funny.
That's signing off in the text was beautiful. That's
so good. Yeah, and also her what she has in her phone for Charles when he calls. I'll tell you off. Also, I meant to clear this with you beforehand, but we shouldn't talk about the cameo, but it is fantastic. Yeah. And it's a fantastic one-line cameo that spins off greater than I thought it would ever go, and I was so happy with where it went.
Yeah, there are plenty of cameos, so you need to look out for them. Some of them aren't very obvious, mind you.
Oh. Yeah. And some are very obvious. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen the first 3 episodes, so hold back for me. But I mean, I know. In the first 3, you've seen enough to know this is going to be a thing.
Yeah. And also, it's Steve Martin and Martin Short calling up their friends. Yeah. Okay, you want to be in my show? It'll be funny.
I bet they're all in New York anyway.
Because I think 3 episodes. Are you wondering why at the end of the credits every week it says "and Amy Ryan"? Because I was, and then she turned up in the next episode. The moment I thought that, she turned up in the next episode.
Yeah.
And
because she's actually billed as a regular.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I guess Disney are scrimping on the credits these days.
Oh.
But I think
it's in the contract.
I think some other characters do move up into the credits later on. I think.
Oh, okay.
But it was odd to me. And then when she turns up, like Amy Ryan's always good. When she turns up, she's great. And Scrabble, Uma, Scrabble.
Yes. You got to keep watching, Bhai.
Yeah.
No,
also,
I will keep watching.
Yes.
I will keep watching.
This is a show that really lends itself to the weekly drop. I mean, yes. I know I love the fact that we had the first 8 episodes, but I can see how I would enjoy watching, like looking forward to something. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but for me, like, I guess you guys are as well. Just worn down by the binge, right?
I looked. This you keep writing articles about this or bringing it up. I really looked forward to watching 4 episodes a night for 2 nights. That was genius. That was great.
Oh no!
Come on, man!
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to rush.
We watched 2, and then we took a break, and we had some IKEA blueberry cheesecake, and then we watched 2 more. What a great day! What a great week it's been.
I did it with Ted Lasso.
Yeah, an old-fashioned mystery show.
Ted Lasso Ted Lasso was the ski jump for my mood for the rest of the pandemic. I don't give a shit. I've seen Ted Lasso. I'm flying high. That mainline that shit. Hook it up to my veins.
But that's
I think
I
rewatched Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I think it just keeps running in the background now when I need a boost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going through it all again for an article was a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Only Murders in the Building. You will not be disappointed.
I will say, I think I saw a few headlines or a few reviews being sniffy a little bit about saying I'm not going the distance. I think we've addressed it does go the distance. Does it actually have a different voiceover every episode? I didn't think about this until I noticed it later on.
So, no. Yes, you get a new POV. So it's the POV of that character.
Yeah. But it's not a literal POV. It's a voiceover POV.
Correct.
I had seen some people. The 8th episode did annoy me a little bit because it goes in one direction, which it very clearly can't be going in because there's 2 episodes left, and it was It was so all in on that. Like, it's not, even if it's not binging it, there's 2 more episodes left. The next 2 episodes isn't them going on Jimmy Fallon or doing a worldwide tour. It's very clearly. That ain't it, boss. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
but that feels like the murder mystery trope, right?
Oh, totally.
You reach the end of the second act.
But because they spent so long on it, I was like, "You're spending so much time on this. I know it's not right." You know what I mean? As opposed
and you're like, and it's only 30 minutes.
No, that was fine. That was the longer one. That was 43, I think. But definitely 43, definitely. But it just that I can see how watching that episode as your last episode and then realizing that you can't watch another one till mid-October. I can see that annoying some reviewers. That last episode just didn't hit as well for me. But sorry about the voices. The one about sound, Uma, as well is just you only realize what's going on halfway through that one as well. Genius.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
Actually, all of the episodes have these quirks and moments of whimsy in them that are really well pulled off.
Yeah.
Like really well executed, right? Even in the first episode, there is this Martin Shaw talks about watching a YouTube video about this guy, this artist who climbs up like it's a Sisyphean task of him walking up the stairs and never reaching the top, right?
Oh yeah.
And the way that of that comes back, and also the way they pull it off, like it's just these short asides that work really, really well.
I thought I'm glad they only didn't do that too much though, because I felt it kind of was like a little slightly indulgent. Maybe again they couldn't get to the 30 minutes on that one, but it worked. But I didn't.
It, though. Yeah.
But I like more the little small details, like I haven't got any messages. Your phone's on airplane mode again.
Yeah.
But also that is not just a joke. That is a sign that they're getting to know each other, and they themselves recognize it's a sign they're getting to know each other.
Yeah. Yeah, but and I also appreciate the fact that it really moves. Like the first episode begins, the way they get all 3 characters together immediately, it's not even rushed. It's completely believable because I think when Serial was a hit, I remember making friends that way. It just happened so quickly because you're like, what? You're listening to it too? Me too. Oh my God, who did what? Is he innocent? What's going on? Yeah. And it's very good. So Only Murders in the Building. Check it out. Disney Plus Hotstar. I'm not sure if they're doing the same thing here that they did in the US, because it's on Hulu in the US and they dropped the first 3 episodes on week 1. Yeah. I don't know what the release schedule is on Hotstar, because like with MODOK, it was a weekly thing, when in the US they dropped all of them at the same time, so they could change it up. Who knows? But if you get the first 3 episodes, you're in for a real treat. Check it out. Let us know what you think. You know what to do. Goggler MY are our social media feeds. Also podcast at goggler.my, and our hotline 012-524-5208. Any last words, boys, before we wrap?
Well, not last words. Hopefully we'll have some more words next week.
For now. No?
Nah.
All right.
Nah.
Go check out the site. Lots of cool stuff to read. And also, speaking of Ted Lasso, if you want to learn how to talk like Ted Lasso, Ian's got a real fun piece about that too.
Also,
look that up on the website.
Also, on Ted Lasso, don't believe what you're seeing on the internet. Roy Kent is a real person. 1. Number 2.
He's over here. He's over there. He's everywhere. He's Roy Kent.
Also, it is not. I mean, it's been a weird backlash against Ted Lasso recently. I've seen a couple. Yeah, people sort of bouncing back on it for some odd reason.
There was an article at the New York or something about like Ted Lasso will not save you, and they didn't really go into the reasons why. Because he's not supposed to save us.
Ted Lasso will save the world.
No, I mean they're digging into his issues now and some other reasons, and that's great. But Roy Kent will save us all.
Are you guys not seeing this online? Like there are articles.
The only thing I saw was that thing about Roy Kent being a CG character. But
yeah, people are convinced Roy Kent's a CG character. Aside from the fact that he actually is one of the writers. Sure, go for it. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
What's ironic is that I've seen the later episodes of I previewed the later episodes of the season with the CGI missing, and Roy Kent was still there. The football stands weren't there. You know, half the players were missing. Yeah. There was like a green wall where things were supposed to happen. But Roy Kent was running around like a motherfucker.
I wish I had watched that. I just really want to see the CG stuff.
I think they've updated it now, right? Because when I watched it, the Christmas episode did not have the animated opening.
Yeah, the stop motion animation opening. Yeah, in the vein of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's all so smart.
But at some point, there's got to be that Roy Kent is like the best and most wholesome character on TV and is reinventing masculinity for a generation of football hooligans. Because,
they need that reinvention.
What's last week's episode?
It's
communism.
Was it last week?
No.
That was the week before.
The one where Roy Kent leaves his pundit job.
Yeah.
On the field.
Okay, so
that is from communism.
Yeah, that's
running through the streets. Yeah.
I didn't finish my article because I put my rom communism notes in. That was the previous week because my Ted Lasso article dropped last week, I would make sure I didn't spoil anything that wasn't in the episode that came out.
The most recent episode was the one where Ted Lasso leaves the game early.
But is that also the one where Jamie learns how to play football like a little bit better, and Roy has Roy has a realization.
And he and Roy have got a secret sign that they deploy on the field.
Yeah. But there's that moment. I think there's a moment where Roy rushes off to see Keely, right, where he realizes that he has to be a team player or whatever. And that was another one of those moments where it's like he says to her something like, you made me make the right choice for myself or something. It's a beautiful line, and it's that openness to change and that the ability to take on other people opinion and but also be one hard bastard who loves his kebabs it's the best. He's the best. Welcome to the Ted Lasso Hour. Yeah.
Hey,
we can keep going.
we can.
I'm just gonna just stop the stream and just talking about it. I mean, it's just something. I'm terrified because I'm worried about saying something about an episode that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, please don't. I haven't seen it. So
he hasn't seen it. I keep checking the screener account just to see if they've added the last 2.
No, this is. I think this is the standard now. They don't give us those last 2 because then some dipshit would spoil shit, and then they'd be accused of giving spoilers, and they want to keep it fresh. So I presume that's going to be the same.
Sons of bitches.
That's going to be the same with Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Last 2, you gotta wait.
But hey, check out all the stuff we've spoken about today. We want to know what you think about all of it. Thank you so much for staying with us and listening. You've been listening to the Goggler Podcast.